Hi everyone, welcome back for part 2 of the lesson on La Vie En Rose. Let's go over a few quick pointers while the top tier patrons roll by. The first 8 bars covered in the last video hopefully didn't give you too much trouble. In this part you are presented with a few chords that are a bit more challenging, but I've already simplified a few small sections. But I do explain the original take as well. Make sure you get these 2 first parts down really well before moving on. This is the heart of the tune, and the majority of what there is to learn in part 1 and 2 will be repeated throughout the rest of the song. Off you go. Then we move up the neck to a B minor 7th chord shape with a bar on the 7th fret. Now in the original version, Chet uses a 3-string bass pattern here. E string, D string, A string, D string. Now, because we're using this tune to hone our finger picking skills a little bit more, I decided to go for a 2-string bass pattern here. But if you want to go for the original, then just add the ring finger to the fingering I'm going to show you. Because all we are going to use is a bar at the 7th fret. We're going to make sure that we don't play the A string, because that note is not going to sound in tune without adding the ring finger here. Let me play the part really quickly. See? Easy enough if you only have to use that bar on the 7th fret. So what we're doing is we're going to keep alternating between the E string and the D string. We're going to use mostly the pinky and the ring finger to play the melody on top. We start out by just playing the low E string and the high E string at the same time, holding down the bar on the 7th fret. And that's all that happens. Bass note on the low E string, D string, low E string. Then you can keep it simple and just play the melody note with the pinky on the 10th fret, moving down to the 9th fret. Playing together with the bass note on the D string and just move down in 8th notes straight away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and heading back to the low E string. Or you can add 1 extra note in front of that just to give it a bit more push. 1, 2, 3. So and all I'm doing is just adding with the index finger the 7th fret on the G string right in front of the melody note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That's just 1 note extra with the index finger. See, that's all that happens, and it makes a difference that just that 1 note removing the pinky altogether, just playing D string together with the B string, all on the 7th fret. Then to the low E string and the G string, still just holding down the 7th fret. Back to the pinky together with the D string, like we played in the first bar. We're going to shift back down to the 9th fret, but now we are going to change chords as well, so we're not sticking to the bar anymore. One more time, on the B minor chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Removing the bar all together and playing on the first beat a low E string. We're moving to this chord shape. Low E string, index finger, 6th fret on the D string, middle finger, 7th fret on the G string, pinky 9th fret on the B string. And just low E string, bass note. Again, I'm trying to catch the G string alongside the D string here. And now 2 options. You can just stick to the low E string, and then you can replace the pinky with the ring finger on the 7th fret. That's more than enough. So E string, D string, E string, and then D string together with the 7th fret on the B string. If you want to go a bit more authentic Chet Atkins, then you can also add in the 7th fret for the last bass note. And that's what you get then. So you have to move the fingers around a little bit more. E string, D string, and then switching with the middle finger to the 7th fret on the low E string, and then swapping around middle finger to the 7th fret on the B string, ring finger 7th fret on the G string. So that sounds like this. And it just gives you that typical bass pattern that we know from all those Chet Atkins songs. So you either stick to the low E string, or you add the 7th fret on the low E string for that last bass note. And this is what I like best, so this is what I'm going to play throughout the tutorial. Then we move down really quickly to an open E dominant 7th voicing. Open E string, 2nd fret on the A string, open the E string, 1st fret on the G string, pinky 3rd fret on the B string. And this is a really quick shift coming from either this or this, whatever option you pick, to this. Let me try and put it together. See, that's a rather quick shift. You have one advantage. The first beat of that quick chord shift is just an open E string down below and an open E string on top, which gives you a split second more to get everything in order. Let's have a look at that 4th bar, just that E chord down here by itself. No worries on that last stretch, it passes by really quickly. So you start on an open E string down below and on top. Then thumbpick to the D string alongside the pinky on the B string. Then you remove the pinky for an open B string to go along with the bass note on the A string. Those are the first 3 beats. 1, 2, 3. And then big stretch to the 4th fret alongside the open D string and shifting straight back to the 2nd fret. Now, since you're playing an open D string, you might want to, or it might be possible to let go of the chord altogether. If that stretch is hurting you, you might play this. And just let go of the full E chord to get to the 4th fret a little bit easier. For those of you for whom it is possible, I would advise to keep the whole E chord down. And then just shift back to the 2nd fret. But it is possible to just let go of the whole chord and move up to the 4th fret and back down again. When you end up back down, you're still just holding down the same chord shape, open E string, 2nd fret, open D string, 1st fret, open B string, and then the pinky, or if you want to, the ring finger, if that is easier, on the 2nd fret on the high E string. Let me try to put that together. The big challenge here is moving from that E chord on the 7th fret to the E chord in open position. 3, 4. See, so getting back quick enough, those 2 open strings really, really help. Even a bit slower. 3, 4. See, so that big shift is the main challenge. Then we end up on the pinky 2nd fret and we move into the next bar, again an E chord. And we know this picking pattern by now. It's just that melody note on the 4th beat, 3, 4, E string, D string, A string, and then the melody note on the last beat, D string together with an open E string, just releasing the pinky. And now we're moving into another rather bizarre looking chord. that next bar sounds a bit tense. There's a flat 5 in there on that E chord, but the natural 5 as well. This is what happens. You come out of that previous chord, open E string, and then ring finger to the 3rd fret on the B string, together with a low E bass note. Then middle finger, 3rd fret on the G string, together with the D bass note. Then index finger, 2nd fret on the A string, and for the melody note you now lift up the ring finger and you play an open B string. But following that all up with each other sounds like this. And those last 2 notes clash with each other. You have a B flat and a B natural, only a semitone apart. That kind of hurts the ears in the beginning. And then, to round it out with, you drop the pinky on the 4th fret together with the bass note on the D string. So that 1 bar really slowly. So if you practice this slow, it does sound a bit strange. It all starts to connect again once you pick up the speed. One more time, really slowly. Sounds really tense if you do it slow. Then you move again into a C diminished chord. Now we can play the full chord voicing. I use a small bar on the 2nd fret from the D string to the high E string. Then middle finger, 3rd fret on the A string. Ring finger, 4th fret on the D string. Pinky, 4th fret on the B string. We're just using the melody note on top. And again, just alternating through the bass part. A string together with the E string, D string, A string. We're just alternating between 2 strings now. And now, tricky bit, if you're up for this, we're going to pull off. We're going to move the pinky from the 4th fret on the B string to the 4th fret on the high E string. We're going to pull off to the 2nd fret. And this is tricky if you haven't done this before. You're playing that 4th fret, you're going to pull off, and in terms of timing, you're going to try and aim that pull off to land exactly on the bass note. 1, 2, 3, 4. See? Try to land it exactly together with the bass note, but don't adjust the timing of the bass note. The bass note has to keep, the bass line has to keep going steady in terms of timing, and you try to land the pull off on the appropriate bass note. And again to an open E string on top. This is, in terms of technique, the trickiest section so far. So pulling off and landing the bass note at the exact same time. Once you land that pull off, straight, we just release everything, open E string on top, followed up by a low E string as the bass note. And again, just 2 strums, bass note, strum on an E dominant 7th chord, 2nd fret, 1st fret, open D string in between, open E string, and then you're moving to ring finger, 3rd fret on the D string, middle finger, 2nd fret on the G string, and as you strum, this is giving you sort of an E flat 9 sound, and you're going to shift that back up to 6th fret and 7th fret to start the second part of the verse with. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and you end straight back up in the first chord that we used for the verse. That is the full verse A section. Let me try and play those last 4 bars back to back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those were the last 4 bars. The last 8 bars. Here we go. straight into the second half of the verse. Before we head there, let me play this first section all the way through one more time, really, really slowly. And then straight into part 2 of the verse. Before you head there, make sure you get all of this really well embedded into your fingers, because you're going to have to repeat this section quite a few times. As soon as you're ready, it's time to head into the next part of the tutorial.